Today, our comprehension skill is about how the setting affects the plot. But before we start, you should know that the setting and the plot are two important elements in any narration, and without them, we cannot write a story. So let's start first by defining the setting. What is the setting? The setting is the time and place in which a story happens. The season and weather are a part of the setting too. Let's take, for example, the place. The place could be a state, a country, or a specific location. And the time can be a day or a year or a time of the year. Now, if you were asked, how do you answer a question on how setting affects the selection, you should think of three things. First of all, you should figure out the setting. When you identify the setting, then the other tasks would be easier. You should think about the time. What things are you going to see and what things are you not going to see? Think about the place. What things are you going to see and what things you are not going to see? How does setting affect theme? The setting affects the theme in a major way. It contributes to the plot and the characters of story so much that without a setting, there will be no plot for the story to be held. Let's start with the change in place. If story takes place in Florida and is about natural disasters, it would be about hurricanes. If it took place in California, it would be about earthquakes. So you see, the events of the story are related to the location. Let's see how the change in time affects the plot. If the story took place in the past, there would be no cars, which makes a big difference in stories. The past also had a lot of diseases that we now have cures for. The future might have flying cars and even more cures for diseases. So the time influences the plot of the selection. Change in time of year. If the story takes place in the winter, characters might have to deal with the snow and ice and winter clothes. If the story takes place in the summer, the characters would deal with the heat. If it is fall, then leaves might be a factor. If it is spring, there would be a lot of rain. What if it is summer? There would be a lot of fun on the beach. So let's come up with a conclusion. Any change in time or place can have a dramatic effect on the plot or what happens in the story. Let's view two examples. Let's see the first example. Sue was driving her car in the middle of winter. There was ice on the ground and her car started to slide. She tried to get control but couldn't and crashed into a tree. So, what might have happened if it was summer? First of all, there wouldn't be ice on the ground and her car wouldn't slide. So, therefore, she wouldn't crash into a tree. Another example, the year is 1885. There is no running water, so you have to go to the nearby river to fill a bucket so you can have water to drink. You also have to cook breakfast on a wood stove. What would probably happen in the story if the story took place now? When you finish watching your video, please answer this question. Thank you for watching.